This is the Stubborn German Podcast. I'm Kevin Ostie, coming to you from the festive Stubborn German Brewing Company in equally festive Waterloo, Illinois. And as always, we're joined by the proprietor of the Stubborn German Brewing Company, Mr. Chris Ron.
Hi, Kevin. Is that festive enough?
That was festivo to the max.
Good deal.
And, of course, our esteemed producer, Mr. Jared Chasson.
Good evening. Slightly less festive.
It is a good evening. You guys are the yin,
sound worn out.
The yin and yang of festivities
right.
over here.
Yes.
So,
like
Mr. Yin, we always try to start this episode with one of the sillier games known as the German Word of the Day.
It's only silly because you've only won once.
I know, in a year, at least, right?
All right, well, here's your next shot, and you should get this one.
I should get them all.
So should Jared. No, okay. The word of the day, German word of the day, is Ausflug.
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 Of course, it's Ausflug.
Oh.
Here you go.
Ausflug.
If I knew what flug and flugelhorn meant, I might be able to apply that somehow, but I don't know that either. So,
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Good correlation
see.
there. Yeah. You guys can talk it out together.
spell it
What do you
on.
think?
Yeah.
Sounds like
Aus. What would aus be? That would be...
bratwurst.
Yeah, I think so. What's the German word for aus? Ausflug. I'm going to say...
It's funny every time, isn't it?
It never gets old.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And he said Kevin should know this, so
Should.
maybe...
That wasn't really a hint of any type.
There's a lot of
Great.
things I should know that I don't.
I'm going to say flashing, like on the house, like your construction material flashing.
Ausflug
my
means
gosh.
flashing. Very detailed and descriptive.
probably-
No, that's
Too
man's,
detailed.
this man's thinking over here.
Flashing. Jared. Got it.
Flashing.
Kevin?
Ausflug. I do like the aus meaning like out or on or forward. Ausflug. So I'm going to think it's a baseball term because it's huge in Germany, and it's a fly out. It's a fly. You know, like
Okay,
a,
a pop fly out.
Fly out. Got it.
It's an Ausflug.
It's a good guess, I think.
There goes Lars Nootbaar. He had an Ausflug.
Ausflug. What was the name of the team that we came up with?
I don't remember.
We need to listen back.
I'll have to go back and listen to that.
Okay, I've tabulated the results, and I'll let you know at the end of
Stay
this
tuned.
fascinating and entertaining episode.
Man, you are wound up.
I am a little wound up. I'm
going on
excited.
with
I'm
this guy?
excited. We're all back. The gang's
We
back
are.
together.
This is true. It is
had-
I
exciting.
have been looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, me
Quite a
too.
bit.
I really have.
Me three.
Good,
Very
good.
much so.
It's been a hot minute as the V8 Radio podcast seems to say every episode now.
Thank you to Mr. Mike Q-Ball Clark.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a hot minute on both sides. And I think part of the challenge is this time of year, I get a lot of travel. I'm busy doing a lot of stuff. So I strive to get these opportunities in, but I don't always get to. And
Sure.
as evidenced by the past couple episodes of this show that I've not been here. So I
happens. No.
Apologize.
Oh, no, don't worry. We were just fine
Oh,
without
yeah.
you.
Oh, you killed it.
I kind of think we don't even need you, Kevin.
I kind of think so, too. I was just hoping you'd have me back.
It was pretty bad, actually. So.
It was not great.
I got halfway through the door, 1 foot over the threshold here, and Chris hands me a bourbon, like, immediately, like, hey!
Don't go anywhere.
I told you I was excited. I was excited to see you. Here's some
It
bourbon.
was cool.
Yep. So
speaking of, what kind of bourbon did you hand us? What do got
you
here?
guys are drinking our brand new 1792 Bottled and Bond barrel pick. So this was the one that Tammy won the chance to go and pick.
So how did that happen? What do you mean won a chance?
Well, so it's one of these deals where they give you the time and day once a year, and this is to get a barrel from Buffalo Trace. So it could be Buffalo Trace, Weller, Blanton's, Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, or this is their parent company is called Sazerac, and Sazerac also owns 1792. So within this little lottery deal is the 1792 brands. As well. So it's kind of known that if you they assign you a number at that time. So you're kind of in the waiting room or whatever online, and at that time, everyone, their screen blinks, and then here's your number. And if you have a number above like 200 or 250, you're not getting a barrel. My number was like 4,000 something,
nice,
and others were like 25,000. So tons of people do this.
Wow.
Tammy's number was 185 or something like that,
man.
really low, 180s. And I was like, "You're gonna get a barrel."
Cool.
So all you had to do was like not get out of which was tougher than you'd think, because we're like, well, is it still going? What's going on? It took forever, and we got a barrel of 1792 out of it. So
Nice.
and it's here, and it's good stuff. I like it.
It's really good.
It's got a lot going on, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
a single barrel bottled and bond, so it's 100 proof.
Yeah.
When it says bottled and bond, it's at least 4 years, but this one I know I believe it's 7 years. It's almost 8 is what the age was. They told us what rick house it came out of and all that stuff. And
So that bottle and bond term is anything after 4?
So there's other requirements there, but if it says bottled and bond on it, it's at least 4.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way to think of that.
There's not like a double bond. It's 8 years.
Double bond would be 8 years. No, that's not a thing. That sounds fun, though.
Well, you could have a thing here.
We could call it a double, not quite double bond.
Right.
7 plus.
75% double bond.
Yeah.
Just
So,
for you.
yeah.
Well, that's cool, and it's good. And being the barrel pick, and you guys have some here, it's available.
It is not. It is all
I
sold
was
out.
just going to ask.
That
is
didn't
there
take
any?
long.
Okay.
I know.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot of boxes here.
Well,
sold
that
out
was-
in a couple
and it's
hours.
sold
Yeah.
out. Wow.
Yep.
That's
Online.
That's why I asked, because there's a good stack here.
Yep. Those are all claimed and need to be picked up. So
isn't
if
that a
you're
good-
listening, come pick up your bottle.
That's
Yeah.
a good feeling, right?
It's a great feeling, honestly, because the fun part for me is to procure these barrels and go do the trips with the friends and family and whoever wants to go to Kentucky and pick barrels with me. I love it
For sure.
That's a blast for me. And the hard part is when the barrel comes in, you got to get rid of it. You got to sell it. I can't drink it all. I mean,
He's tried.
Good.
Yeah.
I would imagine you would be less likely to do that if you had a hard time selling it. So
Yes,
good
exactly.
for your
So we're
customers for
still-
making that a thing that you don't
I
have to worry about.
Thank them very much every time, because and some of them, we'll get a barrel in and it's just not a hot brand or whatever, and it drags on and on and on and on. Or you'll get a ton of bottles out of it. Like this one only had 180 bottles. We've had some that were 250, 260
Wow.
bottles,
Ooh.
and that is a lot to get rid of. It's just a lot. So
Yeah.
it's nice when it's not so many bottles, and it's this was probably one of the cheaper ones that we've ever done. So it sold out very quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's nice, and enough people knew about it that they
Yep.
jumped on board, and it's definitely a good drink.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you can still drink it here at the bar. We hold back some bottles just for the bar. So
Right.
Yep.
So we're not completely teasing everybody here.
No, not completely.
Even though
Just a
you
little
can't
bit.
come in and buy a bottle. You can come in and buy a drink. Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right on. So, being a hot minute,
Right.
what have you been up to, man? It's the dog days of summer as we speak.
It is, man. It's at the recording time here. It is. It's one of those days where you walk outside and it's like, would you just rain already? Like it's that humid.
the air is full of rain, even if it's not
Yeah.
raining.
It's air you can wear.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
Kent Earhart said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been up to. We just got back from vacation. Did some vacationing out west, and I am not much of a world traveler, and so that was a very big vacation for us. And it was a long time, especially being a business owner. We were gone for not quite 2 weeks, but
That's
almost.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the place is still here. It's in great shape. We have the best staff ever.
You wouldn't know. They don't need you, it turns out.
Right? Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Not great.
He
Actually,
did come
it
back
is
to
great.
some.
Yeah.
He came back to some blackberry lager being brewed.
I know. I'm
there
like,
you
what
go.
are you brewing
What
here?
happened?
What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, well, you didn't show up, so it's time to take over.
I might have purposely scheduled that beer for whenever I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that.
What?
It'll be delicious.
Where did you go?
We did Yellowstone. We kind of basically the end goal was to get to Boise, Idaho,
Oh,
which
right.
is where Scott Wheatley and his family moved to. That they were on the podcast. I want to say maybe episode 15, 16
Or so.
I have no idea. But they were in Waterloo, and they moved to. He had spent some time as a child in Boise and wanted to go back there. Always said I want to go back and raise my family here for a few years. And so that's where they went, and so we kind of wanted to catch up with them. But along the way, we did all the typical touristy, American.
Good.
Yeah, which was awesome. I mean, it was so cool. We did Mount Rushmore. We did we did the Badlands. We did Devil's Tower in Wyoming.
Oh, that's cool.
We did 2 days in Yellowstone. We went south out of Yellowstone, did the Grand Tetons. We did a fishing trip for cutthroat trout.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing. It was
Wow.
it was the most fun. It was so cool. The kids loved it. My kids are 13 and 10. They were the perfect age for that. Like, they loved it. They my youngest wants to move out there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that kind of trip at that age, if it's good,
Yeah.
it will leave a mark. So that's cool.
I think we did that. So
And
it was great. And then it was awesome to catch up with the Wheatleys, and we were there for 4 nights, I think. So spent plenty of time there. Floated on the Boise River, and
Did you tell them you were coming, or just show up at their house?
we just showed up, knocked on the door. They
Yeah.
were happy to see us.
We're here.
He had a
Hey,
case
l-
of Stubborn Fest, so
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
it was
honey.
fine. They let us.
they
right
don't
in.
mind.
Look, it's the run.
I did have bourbon for him. It's like, here's all the bourbon bottles you've been buying online.
Well, there you go.
So he did let me write it.
For sure, that would totally do it.
Now,
But
those
yeah,
of
it
us
was
that
so
are geographically challenged, Idaho is a little further away than a lot of people think.
It is very far away.
Especially
a long
from here.
trip.
We
Yeah.
calculated it up, and again, we didn't drive straight to Boise to their house. We kind of took the long scenic route and did many things in between. We figured up we were in the car for over 40 hours drive
Wow.
time. Over 40 hours.
Man.
Like, well over. That didn't include, like, going out to the restaurant at night, or going to, or tooling around inside Yellowstone, which that's all you do is drive around.
How about number of miles for those of us who don't measure driving by time?
Why wouldn't you measure driving by time? Isn't that the more? I don't know. It was like 3,000. We rented a car. The car only
Oh,
had
cool.
2,000 miles on it when we. It's a
Nice.
brand new Chrysler Pacifica.
Oh, cool.
Specifica.
A Pacifica.
Yeah, and
But it was very vague.
to be specific,
Yeah. That's
And
great.
yeah.
That's a good way to do that.
it was awesome. And then we flew home because we were just like, we are not driving home.
Oh, so that's only
that's
one
definitely
way.
the way to do it.
We dropped the car off at the airport and
Because
hopped
I was
on the
thinking
plane.
40 hours to do that is really not possible. But,
Oh yeah, no,
but
it's
that's
not.
only half
It's-
the trip.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
I should have been more specific.
They were going
Specific.
really
You should
fast.
be more specific in your answer. That's
But
great.
man, I mean, like so again, I'm not a world traveler at all. I think the furthest west I've literally ever been is like Kansas City.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah.
No, right on.
I've been to other places, north and south. And all,
Well,
but,
so now
but
you
not
see
west.
why people like it.
It's amazing. I told myself I was not going to be one of these ding dongs that come home and are like, yeah, it was 110 degrees, but it was a dry
It was a
heat.
dry
Because
heat.
there's no way that's a thing, right? It's 110 degrees. That's still way too hot to do it. No,
And?
it was like 105, and we're sitting out in their
Yep.
backyard just hanging out.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
no big deal. I
Yeah.
mean, it's 85 today, whatever,
Right,
90,
and it's miserable.
you cannot go outside. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's swampy here, and the dry heat it's legit, and
It
it's
is.
it creeps up on you because it will dehydrate you like crazy
See, I found that out, actually. Yeah. Yep.
without even knowing. All of a
I
sudden,
mean,
you're-
I could not drink enough beer.
that's what
I
happens.
tried.
Yeah.
Drank all the beer in Scott's house, and he had to go buy more.
But there's definitely something to the wide open spaces and the
Yeah.
the different terrain and the
Yeah.
different geography and
Oh,
different
man.
plants and different smells.
Just
and,
driving out. So, in a couple of those states, the speed limit's 80.
Yeah, that's
so
fun.
if you want to keep up with traffic, you're going 85 to 90 almost, and it's like, so I did get past going 92 miles an hour. Never had that happen before.
Ah, there
that
you
was
go.
fun. Little Nissan passed me, but yeah, just driving that fast. It's like I don't want to go that fast. I want to see it. I want to slow down and take it in, and that was
but
kind
it's-
of quick.
I think it's kind of relative because in a lot of those big open spaces, 90 miles
Yeah.
an hour doesn't really feel like it.
It really doesn't.
And it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere
Right,
sometimes.
because you see a mountain up ahead, and you're driving. You're driving right to it. And
Right.
It takes you 2 hours to get there.
I remember being about your son's age, right between them, maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And we did a family vacation, packed in the little station wagon and headed out west and did similar. We did everything exactly the way you did, except we didn't see anything tourist, and I got beat a lot. Other than that, it was the exact same trip.
It sounds amazing.
Oh, but there was no fishing either.
Oh no! Dang,
You got beat a lot.
Or beer.
got beat a lot. So we didn't see anything awesome. I got beat a lot.
Well,
We need
no,
a whole
actually-
other episode for that
Yeah,
one.
right.
Yeah, no, it was
funny.
awesome, and it left a mark on me because we went through Colorado and
Yeah.
stayed there and seeing the Rockies and everything, and crossing some of these flat states to get there.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
When you're 10 or 11 years old
Right.
is challenging. So what did you do to occupy them?
Well, we made sure to I think we started driving from home here at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Okay.
And so by the time they woke up at 8 or 9 or whatever, I mean, they slept as long as we could keep them sleeping. We were already in
Western Missouri.
Iowa. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I say Iowa, but like, yeah, Missouri's a big state because you got to go west, and then to get to South Dakota, you go north from there. So you're kind of, we literally went to Kansas City and then north. So we drove, I think we saw all of Missouri.
For sure, yeah.
It is the show me state.
It is, and we saw.
That's cool, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just some thoughts from it. I don't know. I kind of thought like, okay, I've seen movies and pictures and whatever of mountains and all the stuff at Yellowstone and the animals but. And I kind of thought like it's going to be underwhelming, like I've seen what Old Faithful
what
does.
A cow looks like.
Yeah, it was so cool. I mean, it's just to stand there and be there.
Yeah.
And I've heard this before too, because I've said this to other people, and they're like, no, you just got to go see it. You got to see it yourself. And they're right. It was. Yeah. It's really awesome. And just like the pride and like the national parks and all that. I love that. That's so cool that we have that in our country. I don't know what other countries have or don't have as far as parks and stuff go, but that's so awesome that we can go and that someone thought way back then, to set that aside and put a boundary around it and say we're not touching this. I mean, very cool.
A lot of that you can thank your boy TR.
Yeah, old Teddy. Yeah. Sweaty Teddy. That's Ted Nugent.
Yeah, it's different.
Different one.
Uncle Sweaty.
Oh.
So, to come to think of what you're saying, I don't know if I am familiar with the term the national park in any other country.
Oh, really?
I'm sure there are parks that
Sure.
are, federally protected, I guess, but national parks are an American thing.
Totally.
I think. And what I really dig is that the national park sign is still kind of that retro 50s looking asymmetric thing with that script underneath, so it's got the name and kind of a stern Lake Arrowhead State Park.
Kind of like, don't cut any trees down here.
Right, don't mess it up.
Yeah, but, don't burn this down, please.
Yeah, but the state parks, and they're yours. They're ours.
They're ours.
Yeah.
They're mine.
We
They're yours.
I think I read the
You might
other
have to
day.
pay to get in.
We've been watching the show Yellowstone. And I was reading a little bit about it, and I didn't know where that show or the name of the ranch in the show got its name. Is it named after the park or something else? And so I was reading a little bit about it, and I think, and maybe you know this, was Yellowstone National Park the first national park in the country?
It was.
Thought that's what I read.
Yes. Yep. It was the first one.
Yep, conservation lands and the whole deal. So,
yeah,
they're great. And what I like is the variety of national parks. Here we are, nature talk.
We'll talk about beer and whiskey soon enough.
Yeah. But you can get pretty much any experience you want because some of the national parks are very rustic. If you're going to go camping, you're just on your own.
Right.
You just go find a piece of ground.
You're in. Go ahead. Do what you want.
Pitch your tent. But others have beautiful campsites for RVs and full hookups and the whole thing. So however involved you want to get, you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember on that trip to Colorado, we went and visited a friend of my father's who was a retired fireman, and him and his wife bought a hunting lodge in Colorado. And we pull up, and it's just outside of Glenwood Springs. It's in a little town called Newcastle, kind of, down the road from Newcastle. Huh. And the first thing you notice is there's a well, like a wishing well, a brick well with an overflowing mound of antlers coming out of it. Right, so the well's dry, but all the hunters would throw their antlers,
toss their antlers in there,
well,
add to the collection.
And there's a super huge stack of these things, and I'm like, oh wow! And the guy that owned it, his name was Cal Durnis, and Cal had kind of a gravelly voice. Hey, do you want a set of antlers? And I said, sure. Well, pick a good one, So I picked this great matching set of antlers, and we stayed there a few days, and I kind of keep these off to the side, and it's time to move on to the next phase of our vacation, and my dad put them on the roof and didn't tie them down, and that was the end of the end. I think I saw them.
They're still on the side of the road.
I think I saw them shatter all over the highway behind us.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Greatest souvenir that never happened.
Yeah, I think my sister got thrown off a horse on his ranch.
Oh, man.
Good memories there, huh?
It's funny because it was a great vacation. Doesn't sound like it, but it really was. I really enjoyed it. I learned on that trip it was about the only time I had ever read a fiction novel from start to finish.
Yeah,
because I'm not
the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not a fiction guy, and my sister read a lot of books, and she had a copy of Poltergeist. The paperback, and I started reading that here in the Flatlands, and I finished it by the time we got to Colorado. I mean, I burned through that sucker.
Wow, good way to occupy some time.
Yeah, until on that same trip I discovered a comic book called Cartoons at a Piggly Wiggly grocery store.
Cartoons,
and
I'll take it.
I was ruined at that point because I still have that first issue from 1983.
Nice,
wow,
that's cool.
Then I read that.
And then I read
cars
all over and over and over
for sure.
Nice. That's
now
awesome.
you mentioned beer and bourbon.
I did.
I believe I saw on some pictures on your trip that you guys went to at least one brewery, a couple breweries.
We did breweries. There's plenty of breweries in the
They have
Boise
those out
area.
west?
They do. Very good ones. And the West Coast IPA style kind of originated on the West Coast.
No.
Yep. It did. So
heard it here first, folks.
Would have thunk it.
You're welcome. I'm here to deliver content.
I know, and you're delivering. Man.
I am delivering. So yeah, I tried to make sure to, and we weren't on the coast. It's really near the Oregon, the eastern Oregon border is Boise, and so I was like, that's as close as I'm going to get for a little while. So we'll order lots of West Coast IPAs. They had hazy New England style IPAs as well, but I stayed away.
Well, so I got to bring up a story from this past weekend. So I was also out west, as they call it. My wife and I went to Southern California, and I had a job emceeing the SEMA Hall of Fame gala once again, which is an automotive industry thing where we bring people into the Hall of Fame, some great guys. But we had a chance to hang out with some friends of ours that live in Southern Cal. We used to as well, and it was a nice reunion. We went to a rooftop bar on top of the hotel in Anaheim, California, at the Westin Anaheim Resort. Beautiful place, fairly new. You go up to the rooftop. I think it's only 6 stories, so it's not like a skyscraper.
Sure.
But they've got umbrellas, and they got a glass thing around protecting the wind gusts, and they had infrared heaters, and off to the one side is Disneyland. It's right there across the street. And when Walt Disney designed Disneyland, he made it specific that when you're in the park, you cannot see out. You can't see reality.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And it's a no-fly zone. It's always been. So you don't see an airplane flying overhead.
Wow.
But this was a strange thing because we could see the backside of some of the attractions from which was like a big no-no in Disney World.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
If you're inside, you don't see what you're not supposed to see.
Absolutely not. And there was 8 of us, and we get a table, and we're going to order some drinks. And a friend of mine, his name is Ross, is looking at the beer menu, and he didn't really know what the brands were, but he said, "Do you have a light lager? Just kind of a light beer. It's kind of warm out." And the waiter, I believe it was a waiter, the waiter person came said, "Sure," and came out with a dark red amber. Dark
red
beer.
amber.
So light lager.
100% the opposite of what he ordered, right? And I said, "Are you okay with that, Rod?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll drink it. No
I'll
problem."
be fine. Yeah.
So he drinks that, and then time to refill. So he comes back and he said, "Would you like another one, or would you like to try an Eepa?"
An Eepa.
What?
It's a West Coast thing.
An Eepa. Oh boy.
I said an Eepa.
Well, did he try
this guy
an Eepa?
really just didn't know what he was doing?
Ross did not order the Eepa.
No, I will not have the Eepa nor the light lager. I guess give me a dark lager.
Just go for the opposite of what you want. I think he just switched right to whiskey at that point. So let's just get this over with.
Let's could you have Jim Beam?
I have never heard of it.
It was also the home of 3 sliders for $30. So
wow.
that's part of the problem with being out west.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you get to pay for it for sure. That's awesome. Well, and I've since kind of following your Facebook page, you've been kind of all over the place the last handful of weekends.
Yeah, I feel like Johnny Cash, man. I've been everywhere. You mentioned the rental car. I got
to sing the song? Go, do all the towns?
Yeah, and Jared, go. I'll accept every city in Slovenia. Go for it. Somewhere I got into a rental car because you're right. I've been to a lot of different cities. And I know where I've been, but I don't remember which one was this car.
Sure.
but it was a Dodge Charger with 6 miles on it.
6 miles.
6 miles.
Wow.
Brand new.
So straight from the dealership to
They
the
just
Enterprise
bought it.
place.
Yeah. And it didn't seem like it because it was dirty. And I don't know, got rained on or something. I'm like, I'm going to get this car. And the rental car market's interesting because they're holding these cars longer and longer.
Okay.
It used to be rental cars were sold off by 5,000 miles or something.
Really?
Yeah, because rental car companies are also car dealers, and they
Sure.
sell everything they got. And the nicer they are when they sell them, the more they're going to recoup.
Yeah, sure.
But because of the shortages and all the rest of the world, they're holding on to them longer. So I'm used to getting stuff with like 35, 40,000 miles. They're just
Sure.
cars,
Yeah.
And I get in this thing, and it's I didn't even pay attention. And I go to check out, and I drive to the thing, and I hand the guy the paperwork, and he goes, "Can you tell me the mileage?" And I go, "Yeah, 6." Wait a minute, that's the trip thing. And I'm hitting the button. No, the other one's
Still
0,
6.
so that's 6. And the guy's like, okay, well, don't screw it up.
6 it is, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I have been a bunch of places, and Kelly and I both got to go to this Southern California trip. It was an Orange County-centered trip, so L.A., you have L.A. County on the north end and Orange County on the south end, and that comprises Southern California. And the example I heard a million years ago was it's old house, new house. L.A. County's kind of the old house. It's more of a grittier city. Orange County is a lot newer in feeling,
Sure.
even though it's just as old. And, most of the houses are from the 50s, and
Gotcha.
there are some brand new areas as well. But there's this thing, right? And in my world, if you're into cars and into hot rods and it all originated in Southern California. And there's an individual, a composite, if you will, of a hot rod enthusiast. And it's usually, today, it's an older guy, a white-haired dude, and he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and he's got a set of flip-flops on. And they have these events that have reached here, the cars and coffee type events. We're on a Saturday morning. You go to a coffee shop. Well, out there, I think it started in Huntington Beach. There's a place called Adams Street Donuts, which has an event called the Donut Derelicts. And every Saturday morning, starting at 5 a.m., 400 cars will be out there.
Wow.
And they're all gone by 8 o'clock. It's just a couple hours, and it's they've been doing it since like 1949. It's like the longest continuous event.
So if you don't have a cool car, you're free to just kind of walk around. And
you park a little farther away, the other side of the lot, and walk around. And we didn't get there until like 8 o'clock, and we missed like all the cool cars. But the donut shop itself is phenomenal. Oh my God, Kelly's taking pictures of all the donuts. Going,
Really?
this is insane.
I saw some of those pictures. They look good.
Yeah, they really are.
That's cool.
And, but I'm just kind of sitting back, and I realize I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a set of flip-flops.
You're that guy.
I've become that guy.
You're totally
I'm 50 now. I'm like, this is great. This is the prophecy fulfilled itself, which
you didn't even have to try. It just happened.
Yeah, and living there for a long time, we were always working and busy, so we never did a lot of the tourist stuff or a lot of the things that, someday things. And hanging out at the donut shop and just talking to random people and sitting there drinking coffee and looking at cool cars was something I just didn't get a chance to do very often.
Sure.
So it felt really cool to do it. It didn't let me down.
Yeah.
And from there, we just kind of ping-ponged to a bunch of different shop owners, some hot rod legends that, for whatever reason, let me in now. And it used to be, can I help you? And now it's, hey, come on in. Check, see what we got going on.
I saw a picture with you and Chip Foose. And
yeah, right. We went to Chip's shop, and
That's awesome.
he's certainly at the top of the heap. And then another paint legend, a guy named Pete Santini, who was kind of the more like the Chip of the 80s and early 90s, at that same level. And then another shop, a guy named, and I had to say this carefully, Mix Paint. Not M-I-X P-A-I-N-T. It's Mick. M-I-C-K.
His paint.
His name is Mick.
Mix Paint.
And it's his paint shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
paint shop.
So
Mix Paint.
Mix Paint, yeah.
Got it.
And he's from England, actually, and he's got this tremendous, and he's kind of like the top custom painter in the game right now.
Wow.
That's
cool.
We were at another show earlier this year, and there was the two top cars at one he had painted, and there was 14 others there that he had done. So his team, 38 people on staff, just
Wow.
So hanging out with those guys and getting the full-on culture and all that stuff.
Talking shop and
Kelly's looking at how they store tools and do all the, it was business and it was fun all at the same time, and a giant reunion. So it was it was a really great trip.
That's awesome.
A couple days vacation, and then the work part, which really wasn't work. It was nice.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Jared, where'd you go?
Man, I wish I had half the stories you guys had.
Oh, we got stories for days.
Right? I haven't done any of the cool vacation stuff. The last thing I did was the bourbon trip. But
that was the last fun thing?
Yeah, really.
Poor guy. He's had no fun since.
No fun.
Well, we're trying to figure out when we're going to play next, when we're going to play out.
Yeah.
We've been learning some new songs.
That's fantastic, and thanks to your lovely wife for sharing a lot of that music, because I was out of town, but I got to
I did the same thing.
See your performance.
I heard like 30 seconds of my favorite song.
I know.
Happy
If you had a favorite, you didn't
birthday.
hear much of it in there.
No, I'm kidding. No, but it was really cool to
I
again, I couldn't
appreciate
be here either.
that
so.
she does that. Yeah. She did say next time, run some audio out of your sound system into a recording or something, because she was just picking it up from the camera microphone.
So you mean you could just like plug it right into this exact equipment that we're using right now?
Basically. Yeah, just turn on the podcast and
hit
you
record. And know how to use
and set up and
it's
brought
just
here.
one more thing I got to think about. But basically that.
I got to remember to sing the chorus twice and hit play.
Yeah,
that is a thing, though.
I'm sure
it's a different side of your brain to perform and engineer.
I don't know if I said this on a previous episode or not, but when we were playing here, of course, she's a photographer and she goes wherever to get the shot, right? And we're back here in the cage, right where we're recording right now for the podcast. And she comes back and gets right next to me, like in my peripheral vision, and she's taking a photo of Scott. I think she was taking video of Scott, who's on the other side of me, and it was totally distracting. And I'm just like looking at her out of the side of my eye, and I just looked at her and said, "Get out." Go away.
Were you like, have you ever seen the... What are you doing?
Yes, it was very alarming. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we found the thing that is preventing you from being a superstar.
Can distract me. Trust me.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to learn to ignore that stuff.
I do on the other side of the cage.
If your wife comes up next to you in the middle of a performance, it feels distracting somehow. I don't know. But,
you get used to it.
Yeah.
What you got to do is, after this, you can stand there and sing, and Chris and I will just like poke at you.
Right? Yeah, we need to practice
that'll totally get you.
Desensitize yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll see. The next show could be here. I don't know. We're talking about maybe the wine bar, maybe Hopskeller, maybe the winery out Shore Lake. So we'll see.
Yeah. All great venues.
Irons in the fire.
Sure.
Yeah, they are. Yep. But
so the booking lady here.
I do know. I've got the in.
It's not me.
Yeah, a guy.
But so we're learning new songs. Trying to, we're going to do most of the same stuff. But
what's new? What's the new song?
Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Well, I like to keep it a surprise, but
Well, how about something else on this?
One on the Stubborn German podcast?
Something else on that same record that we might know.
Yeah.
And we'll just guess the rest of the other 10 songs.
We're going to do, I think, a Billie Eilish song. I think we're going to do...
Billie Idol's my favorite.
Billie Idol, The White Wedding is amazing. I can't wait to hear Billie Idol.
We're doing a song
Steve
that
Stevens, by the way, his guitar player, is one of the best.
I generally don't like, and I don't generally like the band, but enough people asked us to play it, and I thought, well, maybe we could do our own spin on it.
The Darkness?
It is. How did you know? Wonderwall by Oasis.
Oh, really?
I'm not usually a big fan of Wonderwall. It's a little whiny, but
it is kind of whiny.
I think we're going to try to do it our way and hopefully make it cool. So
I mean, I could see that working with the way the way you guys kind of put your spin on things. Yeah. I feel like that'd be a pretty natural.
You would kill that song, for sure. Totally. Now, back me up here because Oasis is normally not top of mind. Was that their first or their second hit?
I think it was their second hit, and I'm trying to think what their first one was.
It was so big you can't even remember.
Yeah.
How many special people? No,
that's it.
That's it. But what was the other one?
Yeah, what is that one? That's not Wonderwall. That's
Chris and his nose.
Someday you will find me.
Oh yeah.
Champagne Supernova.
Champagne Supernova.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one that I remember.
Yeah.
Then Wonderwall, and I think they had another.
When did they become bigger than the Beatles? Was it?
I was just
second or third hit?
Didn't that happen?
Early '90s. They just past the Beatles.
They're like, and now we're better than the Beatles.
Yeah. Well, John Lennon
Beatles,
was bigger than Jesus,
and and then we're of course on top of that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, a couple weeks ago, Kelly and I went camping for the weekend in Table Rock Lake in Missouri, which is 4 hours from here, 3.5, whatever.
Cool.
And we did listen to some Stubborn German podcasts, which was fun.
You didn't have anything else to listen to?
Got to catch. I got to stay current, man.
He wants to know what we're doing when he's gone.
He wanted to hear all the little jabs whenever he was gone.
For sure. Yeah, I got fired a couple times.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Kelly's talking. I'm like, shh, come on. I got to hear what they're saying about me.
That's great.
But I listened to an In the Studio with Redbeard episode, which I think I told you guys about Redbeard before. But he had Fogerty in, John Fogerty. And this was an anniversary episode. So this was like a replay of something from the early 90s. And Fogerty had a recent album. But I learned something about John Fogerty, and I say this because you mentioned, that you guys cover Fogerty in your set. All of Fogerty's early songs, like Born on the Bayou and, all this New Orleans swampy bayou, he had never been there.
Oh, wow. He was just making it up?
He's like the guy that has the German brewery that's never been to Germany.
See how that all comes together? But he was so cool about it.
How lame.
Born in the Bay Area and outside of Sacramento, and Redbeard's like, so where do you, what kind of experience did you have growing up in the Delta? And he's like, I'd never been there. I didn't get there till his 40s, I think.
Wow. And he's like, I should go there.
He's like, I got to go there. So he figured out a way to go there and do like what you did and hit all the stuff to get that experience of the Mississippi Delta and the whole thing.
Nice.
And kind of obtain some authenticity out of it.
So when he was singing Born on a Bayou, he was not talking about himself. He was talking about some other guy.
Yeah, but he does claim that all of the CCR Creedence Clearwater Revival songs were autobiographical. So it was like maybe him thinking as a kid about... It was
like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe in a past life.
Who knows? But it turns out that after hearing that interview, I really liked that dude.
Yeah?
I thought he was great. He's just like, I don't know. I just think about it, and it was...
Well, it's cool when artists are honest and upfront about that kind of stuff. Or, which you can't hide behind anything,
Oasis never did that. They were a little...
No, I guess they did not.
Quite humble is not the word you would use.
Not exactly.
So I find that the more you know a little bit about an artist or whoever... You dig their music more just because you've got that connection.
Yeah.
So you got to have fans everywhere.
Well,
totally. He's like a couple Kid Rock songs away from just having everyone.
Like right there.
Ball with the ball. Here we go.
I do have another story of what I've been up to, but it's sort of complaining. And
let's hear it.
I don't, I hate to be negative on the podcast, but I feel like people are going to relate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to help my teenage daughter, buy a car.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been car shopping lately. It's a nightmare.
It is.
It's a huge
I despise
mess.
buying cars.
See, normally I don't mind it. My wife hates it too. She won't go car shopping.
It's the worst.
She won't do any of that. She hates the whole process. I like it.
I like when they just fall in my lap. Like, I'll take that one. Great.
I like doing the research. I like price shopping. I don't mind talking to a salesman, all that stuff. Nice. The nightmare this time is everything is extremely overpriced and extremely in the price range that she's looking at.
Yeah.
And she started out in the $8,000 ish range. And there's just not much there. And what is there is like junk with big flaws, bumpers hanging off, cracks in this. Bad. And these, I'm at major big name dealers in St. Louis, like not Joe's Car Lot, but like
stuff we've heard of.
Yes, the big guys. So you would expect a little bit nicer quality there, and they're showing me cars that should not even be on their lot, much less shown to a customer.
And they're like, "Here's what's in that price range."
And so then I kind of was like, "Okay, let's look a little more expensive. Let's look at 9,000. Well, no, how about 10,000?" And even then, it was so hard to even... Now,
this is how they get you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I will say, I think the stuff that is good and in good condition just sells instantly. Before they even get it on their website, it's sold.
This is true.
Yeah. And so I'm sure these cars are out there. You just have to know somebody. They have to call you when that car shows up.
And you got to jump quick.
Yeah, you got to go get it. So that's been tough. So we've upped her budget even more, and we finally have been finding some cars that seem to be acceptable, and so we'll see. She's getting close to finding something, but man, it's tough. And I know that we're not looking at new, and that's a low budget for some people, but for a 19-year-old,
right,
10 grand's a lot of money, and
sure. Well, if you want to put a plug out on the Stubborn German podcast, we got like 6 listeners, and if maybe one of those 6 are selling a Corolla or something that you need.
I did actually
for 15 grand.
Just the other day, I put out on Facebook. I just said, if anybody knows somebody, and I did have a few people that contacted me about it. Good. So it actually wasn't a bad thing to do. I was a little nervous. I'm like, is that weird? Are people
gonna I was trying to think of some smart ass remark. I was like, I'm gonna leave him alone. Sounds like he's having a tough time.
I read that and I was like, oh man.
I kind of did the same thing.
Well, and I told Tammy, if this is the most stressful thing I have to worry about, then I don't really have anything to worry about. But
for sure,
gotcha.
But it is one of those things, especially because, and to her credit, she's buying. I'm not helping her with anything, financially, so she's paying for it, putting money down, taking out a small loan, whatever. So I'm glad that she's doing that
for sure.
But also, I don't want to. I'm trying to watch out for her. And don't get robbed. Don't get taken. It's tough.
I know a long time ago, I was car shopping, and the experience sucked. Mm-hmm. And it was I was encountering all those condescending salespeople, and
all the stuff.
Yeah,
and it's got to go talk to my manager.
Oh my god,
so bad.
And the thing that dawned on me is, I know that the executives at the automakers, they just get cars. That's part of it's a perk of the job. You get, and the higher up you get, you might get 3 or 4.
Nice,
just to drive around. And I thought, you know what? Instead of giving them a car, what they need to do is just give them the cash, but make them go to a dealer and buy one.
Yeah,
right.
And then the whole thing would change.
That's like undercover boss. Like you have to. No one knows who you are. You just go in and act like the regular guy trying to buy a car. Yeah, you're right. It would all change immediately.
It's funny you say that. I just watched a video the other day where a Ford executive was basically saying the same thing. He was complaining about the dealer experience, particularly during the pandemic with cars being marked up and all this stuff.
Sure.
And I think he was flat out saying Ford is going to start bypassing dealers, and they're going to go direct, kind of like Tesla does. But it's not just a choice they can make. Like, there's a whole political thing behind it.
There's a lot of legal stuff
there's very much. So they were going to have to do it a certain way.
Right.
But he was like, we're not going to continue to have dealers mark up our cars 10 grand. You know?
Well, in some cases, like right now, there's a new Ford Raptor pickup truck that came out, and then this electric Ford Lightning pickup truck where they're marking them up $50,000.
Right.
Wow.
So Ford's like, we're not going to see that money.
Yeah.
Because the dealer's going to get it.
That's not ours.
And it's discouraging all these people from buying them anyway, so we're not going to sell any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like buying bourbon on the secondary market.
There you go.
Same thing.
Yeah. The brown market, if you will.
The brown the brown water market.
That's it, man.
It is very similar. Which, come full circle, brings us back to Chris having a bourbon of the week that's half price.
Yes.
That you can come in and taste a high-end quality pick that whoever knows what he's talking about is going to get you a good bourbon.
For sure. We just got to find that person.
All right. If we can just find him, then no. What's this week's bourbon
This week is Stumpy's Bottled and Bond Wheat Whiskey.
Yeah.
Which may or not be on the list when you listen to this, but just for an example.
True.
Just for example. For instance.
Unless Jared gets this up tomorrow. It's
actually,
probably not.
I think that's the plan. I think it's on a schedule tomorrow, maybe Friday.
Then you have the weekend, folks.
Yeah. There you go.
And now we did actually talk about this on the Stumpy's episode.
We did, when Adam was
here. He had
here.
this on like when it was brand new.
I don't even know if it was actually technically released yet, but he brought a bottle, like this is the first bottle or something like that.
And it's very good.
It's delicious.
I can't wait to have
it. It is seriously. So they've done quite a few things that I really loved lately, and this I think is my very favorite of theirs.
Really,
I keep going back and forth between like 3 different ones, and then I go back and forth again, and then forth and back, and then back and forth.
Forth and back.
Forth and back. Well, you got to go the other way.
The
to
less
make
often
sure
used forth and back.
That's where I go to find good whiskey, though.
Yes.
Stop at no expense. So, but it's amazing stuff.
Yeah. It is.
It's
now,
great.
I missed out on last week's, was it Yellowstone?
Yes, I did Yellowstone while we were at
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Had I known that, I would have made a point of getting up here.
Was good stuff.
Was it a different?
It was regular Yellowstone.
Okay.
It's the easygoing stuff. Yep.
That is good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
that you thought enough to take your patrons on vacation with you
I
in a
did.
weird way.
I was kind of like, I wonder if anyone will know
Yeah.
this because I don't know. We don't. I don't know.
Now, I noticed on your photo collage that you stopped off at a hop farm. Is
We
that right?
did. Yeah, that's what I
was
forgot
that
to talk
like?
about. It was awesome. It was so cool. It was in Parma, Idaho, which is, I think, I want to say they thought it was 20 or 30 minutes away from the Oregon border, so it's right there, and that's kind of the area where pretty much the majority of the United States hops are grown. Now, there's other hops grown in Germany and England and all over Europe. That there's South African hops there, Australia, New Zealand, but America has kind of the hops world cornered as far as like IPA hops that are citrusy,
Eepa
fruity,
hops.
Eepa hops. Yeah.
The lesser
If you're
known
going to make an
Eepas.
Eepa, it's probably coming from Oregon or Idaho or maybe Washington. But yeah, it was just crazy to drive by these hop fields, and we're right next to hops, just like here at home when you drive next to a cornfield. But those are hops all strung up, and they have a little sign that says Citra.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Citra is like the hop, one of the 3 hops we use in Blitzkrieg IPA, and I've used that for since we've opened. And then you drive by the next field, it says Mosaic, and Mosaic we use in Hans Lager, and so I'm just like, oh, I use that one, I use that one, I use that one. It was so cool.
Did you go out and run your fingers through the soil? And...
I didn't get that weird
Now,
with it.
aren't these
was kind of
stalks
expected.
I
or
kind of wanted to, but
these? Is it a stalk or a vine? What would you?
it's a vine.
A vine. Okay.
Picture it as like a really tall grapevine,
Like
maybe
really
20
tall. I was gonna
feet,
say 20.
25. Yeah.
That's-
Yep.
If you're
That's how
standing
tall.
under it, it's
and
tall.
kind of bushy and
Yeah.
just
It's like a fair-winning sunflower.
exactly. That's exactly what it's like.
It
but
looks
no,
neat.
I reached out to long story short, there's a brewer in Idaho that I had a connection with because of Becky Dell, our bartender, and Brian, and reached out to him, and I was like, do you happen to know of any hop farmers or anything that I would love to, since I'm out here, to go check out a hop farm? I know there's some around. And I had a feeling he would know somebody. He's been in the industry forever, and he owns a brewery there called Payette Brewing. And I went there twice. That's the only brewery we went to twice.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, he emails back and has this other guy in on the email chain. And, of course, then he brings someone else on the email chain. He's like, okay, Chris, I got you set up for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. You're going to go here. So we went to, it's called Mill 95. And that was I guess you could. So basically, they take the hops from the field, from the farmers. They buy them. It's almost like
It's like a mill.
it's almost like the mill. Wow, I just put all this together.
Yeah.
Anyway, they pelletize and package the hops.
There
and
was
then
no hint in
sell.
the title.
No, yeah.
Mill 95.
Wow, am I an idiot?
Yeah.
Jared, cut that out. From this point, cut
I'm
it
gonna
out. We'll
isolate
start
that
over.
and put it on our advertising.
But anyway, a guy there named Thron gave us a tour of the
His name was Thron.
Thron. Yeah, yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
first name. Last
Come
name?
on.
Thir-
man.
first name, yeah, Thron.
Thron. Okay.
Good dude, really good dude.
All right.
Anyway, he showed us around
His
the
last
whole
name is
facility.
Bosis.
God,
Thron-bosis.
I'm sorry.
I'm
but
not going to get through this story. Am
your
I?
barrel pick is starting to kick in.
Great. Yep, it's working. So,
Okay, go on.
Anyway, so he showed us the area and all that, and said, contact this guy to buy some hops. And then we had an 11 o'clock tour at a place called Gooding Farms, and they had, I'm going to mess this up. I don't remember how many acres he said, but lots of acres of hops. And he drove us around, took us in his truck, all 4 of us, and he's driving through this hop field in the dirt. And
Nice.
Okay, here's our. We looked at Amarillo hops. We looked at
Those are
Citra hops.
yellow. Those are orange.
They actually are yellow. That's why they're called Amarillo.
Yeah. And see? If this was the Spanish word of the week, I'd be all over it. But
So would I. That's the language I took in high school.
yeah.
Dummy. But yeah, it was awesome. And this guy, he was very busy. He was fielding phone calls while he's doing this, but he took the time to And I told him, I'm like, I don't buy many hops. I'm a 3-barrel brewery. We're tiny. And he's like, that's all right. Just come on. Let's go check it out. And all right.
That's cool that he did that.
He did. I mean,
because he knows someday, man.
You never know. And that's why, I mean, I guess that's it. Like, you just really do never know where,
So what's the cycle, like the season on hops? They harvest once a year, just like
they do,
regular crops? And
it's kind of like grapes. They grow every year. The same plants will grow and produce every year. And they'll harvest starting in a couple weeks. So we're talking mid to late August and then through maybe September. That's harvest time. And that's when that Mill 995 kind of really kicks it into high gear and does all their packaging and pelletizing and everything. And storage and sales, distribution, all that stuff. So, but I did find out that a good way to kind of guarantee that I got hops from Gooding Farms, which I toured, is to buy a hop variety called Idaho Gem, which I looked it up. I drank some beer with it. It's delicious. They came up with that variety of hop, Idaho Gem, on their own.
Nice.
And they only sell that to Mill 95. So if I buy Idaho Gem from Mill 95, it came from the place that we toured. And I'm gonna make a batch of tropical IPA with that hop in it. So
you could have walked amongst it.
I did.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, so I was there.
A tropical IPA.
It was awesome. Yeah, we started to just call an IPA, an Eepa, Tropical Storm IPA. Just to
that's not going to go away now.
No, it's
Eepa.
not. No, I'm going to use it all the time. But
just to sign up there, it's EEPA.
Eepa.
No, it could be called NEMA.
You never know. But so that's my anyway. It's a base recipe that I can just swap the hops out and try different kind of varieties of hops while using the same kind of grains and yeast, and so everything else is the same. Hops are different. There might be just one variety of hop, or there might be a blend of some hops that I want to throw together. Most of the time, they're going to be pretty tropical-ish flavored. So, yeah,
cool.
That's all that is.
That is cool.
Nice.
And, you're planting the seeds, so to speak, to use a bad pun.
It's a rhizome, actually.
Well, there you go. But, if you think about the lyrics, tall and tan and young and lovely, the beer from Eepa Nema goes pouring. And when it's drank, everyone who drinks it goes, ah.
Clip that off.
Well, I was just about to acknowledge the quality presence of Kevin Ostie on this podcast, but now I might second guess myself.
Just erase the whole thing.
Okay, guys, we need to start over.
Doing so good together.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I know we need to ramp up this episode.
We can just go back
and
10
get to the German
and start
word of the
over.
day. I could. I do want to acknowledge that we are very spoiled, I think, to have Kevin on this show with us. The more I see of your activities that you are out doing, we take for granted that you are an
old guy in flip-flops.
a highly sought-after presenter at big-time shows with important companies and people who count on quality presentation. And they come to Kevin.
Well, you fell for the social media BS, but thank you.
Yeah. And then there's this podcast.
That he wastes his time with.
Exactly.
Hey, I appreciate it. And this is the deal, man. I dig this podcast and hanging out with you guys and having a drink. I mean, this is great. This is very satisfying and enjoyable. So it's my pleasure to be here. But thank you for all the kind words.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I know you are very busy and that you are able to come here with us and hang out and drink beer and bourbon and just kind of relax is a good time.
Yep. It is nice, and that relaxing part is a big component of this.
The minute it gets too highfalutin and crazy.
Well, it's like, it's kind of funny because I heard an interview with Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters and previously Nirvana, and they asked him when Nirvana really hit and he got his first big check. Did you ever hear this story?
No.
Where they asked him what he bought with his first check, and he bought a Nintendo, a tattoo, and a BB gun.
Of course,
because he had money all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But they
what
said,
are the three things I could buy?
Right, and they said, well, how did you handle this crazy, instant Beatle-like fame?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, really, what I would do is fly back to Ohio and hang out with my friends that I grew up with, and it was all out the window. It was just any high pretense was gone. So
Nice.
That's cool.
That's a great way to be grounded, and that's what happens here. This is great. This is just us hanging out. And less than 36 hours from now, I'll be on a plane to Wendover, Utah for the Bonneville Land Speed Racing.
Nice.
So,
Is that already?
yeah, it's already.
Wow.
And I'm
Awesome.
I'm hosting the video live stream from the starting line,
Sweet.
Cool.
which is like the world's longest rain delay. It's really a weird thing because the land speed racing, the track is 5 miles long with 4 miles of shutdown afterwards. So, yes, these cars, some of them go 450 miles an hour. But I'll be there in the starting line, and you can't cover this event because the track is so long in a straight
So
line.
there they go.
There they go, then you wait.
And
'Cause
you're like, they're still going. I hear them.
the next car can't go until the track is fully cleared.
Completely done.
And certified
So how
safe.
long in between?
Oh, it could be 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, or longer.
Holy cow.
So that's where our intent is to interview the next person up and learn about it. But it could be a lot of just me standing there going, okay, I think I see him.
I'm going to give you 10 minutes of recap on what that car looks like right now.
The 9
It's
things,
white.
the 9 things I know about land speed racing will be repeated often. I think it's lsrlive.com if you want to check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on it. That's awesome.
It'll be more fun to talk about here when we come back.
For sure.
Nice.
So we're all waiting to hear
Bated
if
breath.
whatever I said, fly out
Fly out. Yes.
is the word.
The German word of the day, I have the answer for you.
I'm
Well,
curious.
let's recap. So
Yeah.
Jared says...
Do we have to?
Oh, yeah. So the word is Ausflug.
Ausflug.
Ausflug. Did anyone want to change their answer
I
at this
mean,
point?
I feel pretty confident.
That it's flashing?
Yeah.
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 Construction material, house,
It's
flashing.
not. It's not flashing.
No?
So Ausflug means road trip.
Road trip, of course.
Man,
Kevin had the aus with the
out and
moving
the, yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
the road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ausflug.
Flug is the trip.
Flug is the
guess
that the
so.
road?
The road.
Is a flug?
Road,
Well, what's like
I don't
Flugtag, like the Red Bull thing?
That's,
flug.
That's drink trip, I think.
Yeah. What the heck is a flugelhorn?
So a tag means
That's a
that's
road
day.
horn.
road
Tag
horn.
is day. No,
Tag.
Tag.
Guten Tag. Who's that? Yeah.
Guten Tag.
day.
What did you say? What is it? The
Flugtag.
Ausflug.
Maybe I'm saying the Red Bull thing wrong.
Flugtag.
He
It'd be
took
the
Spanish
fly
in high
day?
school.
Day trip?
Folks, so.
Day. That could be. Maybe that's what it means.
It could be.
Yeah.
Figured you
So
heard it here
road
first,
trip
friends.
though is
All right.
Ausflug.
Ausflug.
So if you ever want to do any Ausflugs,
we should go on an Ausflug, fellas.
we should.
We should, yeah.
We should. It'd be
Maybe
fun.
on the Facebook page we'll put some notes on having a great Ausflug. I'm down with that.
I like it.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this road trip for the mind,
I
please
did.
click that subscribe button because you won't be able to escape the next one. And the next one's going to be pretty serious.
It's going to be good.
Sure.
I am excited about the next one for sure. And I'm not just saying that. It's something we've been working on for a long time.
Yes.
So I hope you release this in the proper sequence if the next one is
I'll have to now.
Well, we
what
have
I'm
to.
thinking.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, so for our friend Mr. Chris Ron and Jared Chasson, I'm Kevin Ostie, and we say
Prost.
roast.
Like a cheap looking label.
Yeah.
And it's called Fighting Cock.
legit.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's delicious stuff. Heaven Hill makes it.
Okay.
It's really good.
Have to try it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Are you guys good on
I'm good.
pores and
Oh, great on board.
cables? And
Pores, cables. Yeah. Yep.
I know Chris was going to complain about the short mic cable.
I wasn't
over there,
gonna say
so
anything
I
today.
slid that all the way down.
Mine is adequate.
It's good until I
It's good length.
start stretching. Get all animated.
Wound up as
You
it
got
were.
we are recording. You got your German
no.
word of the day.
Are we still doing that?
I mean, we've had multiple winners now.
You
so-
guys both won already.
I
Is it
know.
even fun?
I know, it's crazy. It's
All right.
awesome.
I got a good one.
All right. Well, then we will launch the show. You ready?
Launch it in 3, 2,